Welcome back, everybody, to the Hunt Experience. I'm Cody Gann.
I'm Chris Brewer.
Today, we have Sean Cook in the house.
First time with a guest, so we're working through the kinks here.
Yeah, trying to figure this part out. So, Sean, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are?
Sean Cook. I live in Witcherville. I'm an operation manager for Arcola Sand and Gravel, and just an avid hunter.
Avid hunter. You're a turkey man, right?
I guess you could say that.
Turkey, deer, coyotes.
Anything and everything?
All hunting.
He's about that life.
It's about that life. Sean, you're into call making. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So how did you get into the call making?
You know, I bought calls probably since I was 12, 13 years old, and it just seemed like every call that I would buy, there'd be a problem with it.
Couldn't get sound like.
Well, I'd buy two of the same call. They'd sound totally different. Or my reed would come loose after blowing them a few times.
Yep.
And I finally spent like $100 one weekend on calls, and all of them was junk. And not that there's not good call builders around here, because there is, but I ran into a guy at Big Buck Classic named Bobby Bird. He's 80-something years old. And I picked up one of his pot calls and ran it, and he snapped his head around. He said, "Oh, you ran a call?" I said, "Yeah." Got to talking, and he yellow yelper turkey calls.
We may have seen him up there still. He's still doing calls.
Yeah,
There's a guy there on the corner. Remember that was doing.
Yeah,
He was an older guy.
The
older guy.
gentleman? Yeah.
He was about to kill his 500th turkey.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I got to talking to him. I thought, man, I've thought about getting into building, and he gave me a little bit of advice. He said, "Man, I think you'd enjoy it." So I got to researching it and looking at different presses, how to build them. I had no idea how to build a mouth call. And so I'm like, God, that's pretty expensive to build a mouth call. I didn't know if I could. Finally, I bit the bullet, ordered the presses. After research, Thad Bright with Feather Ridge, it got the best presses out there. So I bought them. Didn't know if I could build them.
Yeah. Take the leap.
And I can tell you can go on YouTube, and they're not going to tell you their secrets.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, sure.
You can see a little bit.
Sure.
So it was trial and error from get-go, how to stack latex, how to do it all. And I ended up, got one, sounded all right.
Sounded pretty good.
And then I started tweaking with it and started getting different latexes, different thickness. And I can tell you my tape job was pretty hideous. I had more silver showing than tape, but it ended up, being good, and I took time, but I knew once I got started, I take it to extremes sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Getting it right. So the first year, I picked out 7 turkey hunters, not callers, but turkey hunters that I thought was killers, and I put calls in their hands, and I said, test them out, give me your feedback.
Right.
And a lot of them gave me a lot of negative feedback, and that's what I wanted.
Sure.
And so I took them, I got, Chris was part of the deal.
Yeah.
You were part of the deal. Jason Kelly from Ozark, he's one of the best turkey killers around that I know of. John Valencia. Then you go down south, you got Jimmy Russell, and, he hunts with Shay Hadaball. They're killers. Kevin Gillum is one of the better turkey hunters around, so I put calls in his hands. They gave me feedback, and that's how Woodsman calls got developed. And people may say we're a little outlaw, so that's kind of the outlaw series is what we go with. So
some of them more than others.
It's some more than others, and some have calmed down. So anyway, so I put them in the hands of what I thought, not competition callers. I mean, hey, there's a lot of great callers. I'm not a great caller, but there's a lot of great callers, and but to me, turkey killing is what it's about.
Somebody's going to put them to use in the woods.
I don't. It ain't for turkey. It's for turkey killing.
Yeah.
And so I took my time, and I designed these calls. I did all these stretches. But I think one thing that I think Woodsman does is I've got about 20 people with their own stretches. I sit down, And they're like, man, I like his call if it just had a little bit more front end.
Yeah.
So I'd stretch it a little bit more. That's it. So I've got their stretches. So
Yeah.
each year I build their own custom call for them.
Gotcha.
So that's something I offer that I don't believe a lot of
Yeah,
people do.
that's,
Yeah, oh,
that-
sure.
We talked about before how huge that is because I searched around for call after call, and I tried everything. Every year I'd buy 5 different ones, kind of like
Yep.
you were talking about. Couldn't find one, and once he hit me up, it was like, man, I like mine just a little bit looser, a little more raspier, and it's like didn't take him long, dialed it right in. It's like
Yep.
you ain't getting that service nowhere, I promise you.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I think, you know, for me, you give me some calls early on there, and I've never been what I consider a good turkey caller. Just never have.
Right.
But I could actually make some pretty good sound
Yeah.
out of these, and
Yeah.
you know, that was pretty impressive for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
early on for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's taking time. You know, you get these big companies, not that they don't make good calls, because they do. They produce so many.
Yeah, mass
And
production.
It's mass production. You got different people building different calls, different times of days. I don't want that. I don't want to be big.
Right.
I want to be local, and I want to be good. I mean, I'm not the only call builder, but I do offer for locals
Yeah.
something
Sure.
that, hey, if you want to sit down, and if a kid wants a little lesson, not that I'm a great turkey hunter, but I'll go through the steps of finding, you know, kind of what call they need.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they can build on that. So.
Well, see, to me, that had been really valuable, you know, when I was a kid, because I was self-taught, and
Oh, me too.
I told you that quick story. You know, I got proud, man. I sound pretty good on this turkey call.
Yeah.
Come to find out, I was sucking in instead of blowing out.
Yeah.
You know, I
making
totally
a
taught
noise,
myself
right?
backwards.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to like, you know, we're all we all dabble, all three of us dabble in different stuff, and a lot of times nobody can do it better than you, right? So
Right.
I think that's probably how you got into trade calls. That's how we got into building our own pools. It's like we did that 3 summers ago.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
let's build swimming pools.
First,
Okay.
first and last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many calls we've gotten since then? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, how'd you do that? And we were talking the other day. It's like, man, if we had shot all that footage and showed how to,
Oh, man.
Oh yeah.
people would have probably had 3 million hits by
Viral.
now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes you just got to do it yourself if you want it done right, and that's kind of what you've done with these calls, you know.
Man, I think my love of turkey, and I started out coon hunting. That was my passion. I mean, that's all I eat, flip, breed,
Yeah.
coon hunt.
Would you start back, please?
Huh?
Would you start back?
I would like to. I need to.
We have a problem.
Yeah, I need to. But, you know, I'd be in the woods and I'd bust turkeys off the roost. And then I got to pay, you know, noticing, man, what are these turkeys right here? And then I'd kind of judge, I bet there's turkeys right there. Sure enough, turkey would fly off. So I kind of started figuring out at a young age, you know, 10, 11 years old, man, why are these turkeys roosting? Yeah. My mind was going like, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so that helped me, and I had a neighbor guy that was a turkey killer, and he had a box call. That's all he used was a Lynch box call. And man, every time he'd go, he'd bring turkeys off this hill by my house. I'm like, golly. Well, I found a Lynch box call at a yard sale.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Well, I shouldn't be by myself, but I snuck up there and I hit it a few times, thought I was a caller, you know. Man, turkey showed up. I didn't even have a gun that trip. I'm like, oh, I called in a
You
turkey.
try to tackle him.
Oh yeah. And then I started killing my first turkey. I was probably I'd be either 11 or 12 when I killed my first turkey by myself. My parents didn't even know I had the gun out. And I snuck off, killed a turkey. I was trying to hide the feathers. I mean, it's one of them deals.
There used to be some cool old timers too. My very first turkey call was a box call, and the guy made it, and it was square. Mm-hmm. Had a little lip on it, and a guy my dad worked for made them all. And they were all kind of like notched out and put together real nice, and you had a stick and you had a piece of chalk with it. And I remember calling in my first bird with that. It was like across the creek down there on James Fork, and had like an old double barrel shotgun. And I pulled both barrels, and I don't know how old I was, but back then it was like you would watch a turkey hunting guys, and when they'd kill a turkey, they'd run over there and grab it. Well, I learned real quick that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's like I ran over and grabbed that turkey, about flogged me to death.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so. I had a cassette tape. I don't even know where I got it. Probably yard sale. But Ray, Tom Stuckey and Ray I with a cassette tape, and I listened to it, and I actually bought me my first diaphragm at Walmart called Terry Turkey Talker. And man, I don't even remember what cut it was, but I put it in, and I thought I sounded just like
Yeah.
them guys.
Heck yeah.
Drive down the road. That's what you're talking about. Driving down the road, turkey calling all the time. I still do it today. When it comes getting close to that time. But
Yeah.
I was always the diaphragm stuff. To me, man, I struggle with. I'd have to cut them down so small because I would like gag on them. I had to get them so small and put them in the front of my mouth. So it was a process for me to find one that fit.
Oh yeah. I think everybody got a different way of how they call, so you're not gonna make everybody happy. What I
Right.
figured out. So I can't call all calls because my air channel goes to the right just a little bit. So the way my tongue is in my mouth when I'm blowing it is to the right. So my air is flowing. So I've got to either have a combo call, which is a shipwreck, like the Red Reaper.
Yeah.
I can blow a bat wing because it's got a cut on the right. And my
Okay,
air
that makes
kind of
sense.
goes down the middle a little, so I can blow a gulf cut. But when you go to reverse combos and stuff like that, I'm not that great.
So how did you know? I mean, how did you know that you're to the right?
Yeah, I can show you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because I've never heard of that. I mean, crud, that may be
Yeah,
part of
me
my
neither, yeah.
that'd be part of my issue.
Yeah,
I mean,
So
I just
I
pop it in and start
I built
blowing.
this. This is just a no cuts in a call, and
right.
so you gotta find your top note. Once you find it, you're 90% there.
Okay.
So, and on my call, you can take them and bend them to your mouth.
Now I
a
did
little
some
bit.
of that. Yeah.
Because when I'm building them, I'd get right where I had the top note, and I'd take it about 5 more on my stretch, just for people. People love to cut. I never cut when I'm turkey hunting. But
Right.
people love to cut, and it stretches your reed. So I take it about 5 more than what I think is optimal stretch.
5 more. That's tension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what you want to do is get that top note, and once you get it mastered, and you'll figure out where your tongue is when you're getting this top note with no cuts. Then when you blow your cut call, your tongue needs to be in the same place.
Gotcha.
So you want. That's just people with air in their mouth.
Yeah.
You want to like cough.
Yeah. So for me, I had a lot of trouble like purring with a mouth call. I had to switch over. If I needed to purr, I had to go to like a slate call or a glass call or whatever I had in my pocket at the time. With those calls, I can purr easily with them.
Yeah.
See, I can't flutter my tongue at
Yeah.
all. So everything I do is through my throat.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I call everything.
That's interesting. Like being self-taught, like most everything. I think most guys are self-taught. And
Oh, yeah.
If you had somebody take you, bring you in like I did with deer hunting,
Yeah.
I think you advance really quick. So when you're self-taught, you kind of learn by mistake, like we talk about all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, for me, it was early on. I had learned incorrectly.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, I listened to a VH or a cassette tape from, I don't remember who it was, Drury's or somebody.
Yeah. Probably.
And it was like, they just did it on there. So I tried to sound like that.
Yep.
And what you just told me helps me a ton because I wouldn't even known that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna make it like a starter pack with a no cut and a bat wing, a reverse combo, and a combo cut, and that's gonna tell you where. And once you get
Yeah.
your top note, then you can see which one. But just you memorize this no cut read, and then you know where your tongue is. And
Gotcha.
once you figure that out, when you put a call in your mouth, you know where your tongue needs to be,
Gotcha. Yeah.
and makes all the difference.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Muscle memory too. As we talk about driving down the road, doing it all the time. It's like you can kind of tinker around with it. I still mess around with location and
Oh yeah.
tone and everything else. Even now, just trying to make it sound a little bit.
One thing I remember from that cassette tape is they always talked about overcalling.
Yeah.
So man, that used to be a bad problem.
Yeah,
I wanted to show the turkey what I could do out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like, let me give you a little.
We were
cut.
talking about that with like the cutting stuff. When
Oh,
you're
man.
the same way, I don't really cut in the woods unless
Never.
you get a
Hardly.
hen fired
Yep.
up, and then I might or it's like it's almost like the grunt call for deer, right? It's like, well, I got 10 minutes of shooting line. Let me get some grunts out
Yeah.
here, so I may go crazy
Yeah.
for a little bit, see if I can get one to fire off. But
Right.
typically
Last.
don't do that unless there's a hen involved. But
Well, again, being self-taught. So
yeah,
early on for me, I had an owl hoot.
Yeah, yeah.
and I found them on the roost, and I thought that's how you're supposed to do it. I didn't know.
No, that's an excellent way of doing it.
Well, and so being not a great caller, I never had to be early on because, well, Arkansas had turkeys back then.
Yeah, that's another
It wasn't,
thing.
I mean, they still do. Don't get me wrong, but back then they
that's
were
another
everywhere.
show.
We got pockets.
Yeah, now we got little places. I mean, there's places that have produced for 20 or 30 years that don't have birds now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we're not in the same place we used to be for
No,
sure.
not at all.
So it's like the good turkey hunters are still killing turkeys.
Yeah.
And all of us that are mediocre
Yeah.
are starving to death.
Yeah. If you're killing them in Arkansas, you know you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely changed for sure.
Let's go through the call lineup. I know you've got several different varieties. I kind of like to know the names of the calls, and then I know there's normally somebody that influenced that call, so I'd like to hear that story too.
Okay, so I guess probably my leading call is the Red Reaper.
Yeah.
And it's that thing is had a lot of hands in this one.
Yeah.
One being mainly Jason Kelly.
Yeah.
The other one Jimmy Russell,
Yeah.
and another gentleman up Mulberry named Jamie Carty.
Okay. Yeah.
So they have all influenced the Red Reaper what it is right now, and that's actually what I just blew. I blow it mainly that and a bat wing.
Is that your top call then?
I would say it's my top seller. Is the Reaper. Then, I would think my next call would be the JV3, which is John.
I really like that one myself.
It's a V cut.
Yeah.
And going back to the Red Reaper, it's a combo cut. It's a shipwreck call, which Don Ship got the name of it, so they named it shipwreck.
Okay.
So I don't know if he came out with the cut, but you look at all these calls, all these cuts are in everybody's lineup.
Yeah.
And you make a few new crazy cuts,
Right.
but it's all about the same.
Yeah.
And it's how you stretch them, what you use.
Tension. Yeah, that is for me the tension.
Yeah, it's definitely the tension of it. And so JV3 is one and only John Valencia.
Oh yeah.
He got the V cut, and it's a good seller. I mean, I had one guy. I mean, he'll buy 12 at a time.
Yeah.
And a guy just sold some to him on the way over here. He said, "Man, I got one off this guy." I said, "Yeah, he buys them by like a 12 pack there." Anyway, so he's using the JV3s. There's several people local that use the JV3s. I'm not a V cut guy.
Yeah.
But it's a good call.
Yeah. I like it a lot, that one. And then when you, what was it, 2 years ago, we came out with the bat wing?
Yeah, bat wing. Yeah, I've got two bat wings.
That's one of my favorites, too.
The blue bat.
Yeah.
It's normal latex, like 4,000, 3,000 prof. And, but it's all about the tension on the bat wing. And so I think the bat wing is probably one of my, I use it a lot as well.
I like that one.
And then I've got one called the raspy bat that's a little different. It's got 5 thousandths.
Okay, I don't think I've tried that one yet.
Yeah, it's got 5 thousandths, and it's got 2 profs on it, reeds, and it's raspy.
Yeah.
So it's called a raspy bat.
I like them raspier calls.
Well, see, I thought raspier the better. I didn't, that's what I've always
honestly,
tried.
if you listen to a hen, it's always, you got to have that top note.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go in the rasp, and honestly, it's top note and cadence of the call.
Yeah.
Like go up, go down. It's like cutting. It's a tick-tock. It's like 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2.
I get you.
That top note, if you can do that one like really quietly too, if you can go into that really quiet, like, man, that's when you can really hear a bird get
you
fired
can
up.
almost seal the deal if you can key into a yelp
Yeah.
with a top note. I mean, they can't handle it. So the bat wings, there's 2 of them. Actually, there's a new one came aboard, Mike Decker.
I saw something on Facebook.
It's called the Double Decker.
Yeah.
It's new this year. It's a 2-reed bat wing.
Okay.
That's one of my very few 2-reed. I like a 2-reed call.
Yeah.
Then I've got the camo cutter, which it's a reverse combo cut. It's the opposite of the Red Reaper, but cut on the other side.
Yes, I've got that one. Yeah.
So it's a good call. I've got the Guillotine, which is Kevin Gillum, and the going back to camo cutter that you boys hear. And
we worked on that one a little bit with the tensions and everything. That's a great call too.
Yeah, it is.
So the Guillotine is a Kevin Gillum call, but we're actually going to work on a call next year. He was gobbling. I mean, he gobbled like crazy on the mouth call, so we're going to build
Yeah.
a gobbling call.
I haven't mastered that yet.
Well, we're going to work through it and try to find the best way to get one built for gobbling.
Yeah.
And so it's coming out next year.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then I've got one called the BC Bandito.
Okay.
It's Bold Choice TV out of Texas. They've partnered up with me for the
I've
last
seen
couple of
something about that.
years.
Yeah, that's
They're
huge.
YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they're good guys. Mason Stapp and them boys in Texas. And yeah, so they've got it's a ghost cut call. And so then I've got a new one coming out. It ain't been released yet, so I ain't gonna give up the name.
Dun, 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 dun.
But it's gonna be a killer.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. It's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna let the person introduce it. Who's
nice.
Behind it. So
Oh, that'll be cool.
yeah, it's totally different from what I usually do.
Well, that's super cool that you've tied that with people.
Yep.
You know, like
Yeah.
you said, you went and found guys that were legit and,
Yep.
and got their feedback. That's a really cool way. I think that's more custom than what you're going to get anywhere else.
Oh,
Yep.
for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Well,
Yep.
I can speak personally. We were talking about this before the show. Since I switched over, I've either called in birds for other people that have killed them, or killed them myself. 6, I think, is the count since you started dabbling in them. So
Yep.
I think you got something going on here, because
Yeah.
I'm not a very good turkey hunter.
Well, that's kind of how I feel. It's like I would bring in Jody Daggett, which was
Yeah.
Yeah.
our killer,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, he actually called in a few that I wouldn't have done probably. I mean,
Right.
he's one of them guys.
Yeah.
He's a killer for sure.
Yeah, you know how to do it and not to overdo it. I think that's probably a mistake that a lot of people make. I know I did early on, and then we would go back to hunting public land in Missouri, and kind of what you're talking about, roost the bird.
Yeah.
You're kind of set up, you know what's going on, and you got some yahoos with some box calls right at daylight, blowing every turkey off there, just yelping as loud as they can go, trying to get one to gobble on the roost, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know, my deal is I'm not a great caller, but if somebody wants to sit down and I'll take the time and show them what I know.
Yeah.
And especially starting out, I mean, especially kids is my deal. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I will, I'll help them all I can.
That's, I mean, if you think about it, same kind of back to my situation as a kid. If I'd had somebody like you saying, hey, this is what you need to be doing, I would probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I am what I am. I mean, I can call. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just not great.
Right.
You know,
Well, if you're in the right spot and you got the right bird, sometimes you don't have to call very good.
Well,
you just got to
yeah.
make a little bit of noise, and
Right.
sometimes we're talking about that. You know, if you kind of know where they're going to roost, you can kind of kill them of the eventime and never even have to call.
Yeah,
So
cut 'em
it's like
off.
there's all kind of, and that kind of goes back to the name, the Woodsman, right?
Yep.
Know where you're at, know the land, know what the birds are doing, and
Yeah.
that's 95% of the game right there.
Oh, yeah.
and patience, which
Yeah.
is I'm horrible at. And that's,
Yeah,
you know, he
Not
gobbled. Why is he not coming? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
not my virtue.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
And then you got slate calls, and then you glass as well, right?
Glass, crystal, aluminum,
Yeah.
and slate. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not, you know, my big deal is mouth calls.
Yeah.
I do offer pot call, but
Yeah.
I'm not real big. It's just so time consuming.
Oh, I can imagine.
And
yeah.
you know, I'm kind of steering away from it. Somebody wants one, then
Gotcha.
I'll get them for them. But pot calls are not really my deal.
I got a slate call from you last year, and
Yeah,
then,
I mean, they're all there.
yeah,
trust me.
they're nice.
Yeah, yeah, they're.
And then I guess it was a couple years ago. I got some with my business
Yes.
logo in them. I gave them to all the guys at the shop.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Then I got a picture of Luke holding one. I mean, I think it was me and him with one of his youth birds, and put that picture in a glass
yeah,
call. That's
I
super cool.
put pictures in a lot of them.
It's on display at the house with the 4 bird deal,
Yeah.
and we got that call sitting in there, and they're super cool. But
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
yeah,
Bill,
another thing you're not getting really anywhere else.
No.
But,
no, if like the tragedy with Newt Hodge, you know.
yeah,
You know, I built some calls, and I won't build no more just for the fact of I want it to mean something to the family.
Sure.
So if somebody asked me for a Newt Hodge call, I probably wouldn't build it for them because
Right.
I want it to mean something for
Yeah, yeah.
Joe and
Sure.
Brandy and
Yeah.
the kids and
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I've actually got one that I carry. I actually caught several birds up with it.
Yeah.
And but it's the little things I think.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yep.
And I think that's pretty cool because I don't think that's offered a lot. You know what I mean? There's not many people out there that do that. So I think that's definitely something to
Well, my deal
be proud
is,
of.
I'm apparently not a good businessman because I usually give away a lot of my stuff
Right.
when I build it. I mean, I think it's the right thing to do.
Sure.
A lot
Yeah.
of times.
Sure.
And,
Yeah. So on that deal too, the customization side of it's like something you're not going to get anywhere else. We're talking about the pictures and the, the tension of it and everything that you do there. Walk me through. You kind of touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but like the evolution of it, and how you work with people on the tension, and then the feedback you got from there, and the process that goes into that.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, everybody runs a call different. So, to sit down with someone and go through a call and have them blow it. A lot of people don't want to blow a call in front of you because they think I'm some turkey guy. But trust me,
I
I'm
would
not.
be one of those.
Hey,
Really?
trust me, I'm not. And but if you'll blow it and find out, it's all about that top note.
Yeah.
Once you can get that top note, then you're there.
Yeah.
You're almost there anyway. But the problem is latex. The supplies you get, it changes so often.
Varies in between.
So what I do, I'll build 20 calves. Just think about this. Last year I built 400 mouth calves in February. About the end of February, they sowed. I ended up having to build a mouth calf all turkey season. I said, man, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I don't want to get big.
Yeah,
I mean, that's my deal. I don't want to get big. I've had
You don't need a second job.
the only store that I run my calls in is Jelco.
Yeah.
And the main reason is because of the people that's at Jelco.
Yeah.
Richard Kraft, Chris Hacker,
Yeah.
them boys, they do a lot for the community.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
they sure do.
That's the only reason my call is in Jelco.
We're gonna have a hacker on here pretty quick.
Hacker's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've had 4 other places want me to put my calls in, and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I could sell them. It ain't about money to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
It's about building a good product and for local people
Yeah.
at a cheap price.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I sell mine $8 for a mouth call. It's hard to go find mouth calls in the
Oh,
store.
yeah.
for
Oh, I can
$8.
imagine.
And so I ain't making a lot of money in it,
Sure.
but it's fine. I like doing it, and I want to help people, and so that's
Yeah.
kind of
It's a winning
It's
combination. man.
huge, yeah.
But when you buy material every year, it changes.
Yeah.
Even shipment after shipment. So every 20 calls I build, I'll build one for myself and run it just to see. Now, just think about how many calls I build. I've got a stack of calls
I bet you do.
from all them calls.
Yeah, you're testing-
every
testing.
20. So I'm marking every one I build.
Yeah.
Every 20 calls, I run it to make sure everything is still on par. I chunk a lot because I don't need that many calls.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And,
handmade call tested right there.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
get that anywhere else either.
Well, it's funny you talk about Jelco because Jelco was the only, in the beginning, Camo, they were the only place that would take our merchandise
you bet.
and sell it for us just because we were a little local
Yeah.
bet.
group, So,
Yeah, and and I think I'm local, so they wanted to help
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
And hey, I appreciated it. But,
absolutely.
I'm not into it's local people. It's actually the way I look at it. The mouth calls are there. It ain't Woodman calls, but you got people like Jason Kelly, John Valencia, Jimmy Russell, Kevin Gillum, local people.
Right.
That's their calls.
Yeah.
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 Bo Hadaball. Bo Hadaball. Bo Hadaball got the Hattie Bow hammer. I forgot to mention that.
Oh,
earlier. Everybody knows Hattie Bow.
Yeah.
So everybody got their own calls in Jelco.
That's pretty cool.
So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's something you don't see anywhere else. Any plans of diving into the coyote call world?
I have built predator calls.
Have you?
Yep. Yeah, I've built several howlers and
I figured it would kind of go
distress.
hand in hand.
Yeah. So I built elk calls. I just don't publicize a lot of my
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You've never seen me get on there and run a mouth call.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first time I've even talked about my
Sure.
calls.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
So,
I understand. Yeah, I hear you're a coyote guy. I hear that you do
Yeah.
that. You do that a lot too.
I like coyote hunting.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got some big tournaments and stuff going.
Yep. Trying to help the turkey population, and the big deal this year has been farmers calling because of the calves. and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my brother just called. Matter of fact,
Really?
Chris, FYI, He had a
do it.
cow. He had a cow die.
Really?
And he's got like 12, 15 new calves on the ground.
Yep.
And they're running around howling at night. And he's like, dude, you need to come kill these.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
we can do it.
yeah, we need to make
I'm
that happen.
not the best at it, but that's a pretty good time.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, definitely. We kind of blew. Well, that's another another story.
We were in that tournament.
Yeah,
Should have
That's
placed.
another story. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Well, so I guess from here, tell us, if people want calls this season, next season, do you have them available? Where can they find you?
Okay, Facebook, Woodsman Calls, or Jelco.
Yeah.
Or contact me if you got my number.
Yeah.
I've got calls. I think the last count I had was in 41 states.
Nice. That's
And,
cool.
That's pretty awesome.
So they're all over.
Yeah.
And but my main focus is local people, because I want it to be where CRISPR wants a call, say it's the Red Reaper, but you want a different stretch.
Yeah.
That I've got it. Like I said, I've got about 20 people with different stretches
Keep all
for
that
the
stuff
call.
on. Yeah.
And I build you your call
Yeah.
for that year, your call, whatever. And,
That's super cool, man.
I actually need a couple calls, by the way.
All right, well, we
My
can
son-
hook you up.
I think
Hey,
my son took
Hey,
all
while
mine.
you're here,
Yeah,
I think
can
my
hook you
son.
some.
Well, he texted me the other day. I want to know what I need. I was like, I really don't know, and I never went and looked. And then I went into
Yeah.
Luke's room looking for some golf stuff. We were going to go golfing last weekend, and he's got all my calls in
Yeah.
there. So we'll throw the Facebook link down in this, so
Okay.
people can click on that, and we'll go from there.
Yep. Sean Cook, thanks for being here today, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
that was
for
fun.
having me.
Hey, I learned a lot.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, I did.
Yeah, that was really cool, and this was first go around for us of having a guest on. So
Appreciate it, man.
congratulations on being the very
Yeah,
first
man.
guest.
Yeah.
on the
I get a
Hunt
hat
Experience.
or
We don't have hats yet. We don't have no merch
I
yet.
really don't have anything.
no
actually.
merch. No merch.
No merch yet.
Well, thanks again, man.
bet.
This has been the Hunt Experience. We appreciate you guys listening. Have a good one.
Yep. Thanks.